You know what? This is how expats across the world, no matter if they are in South America, Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, this is how they know when it's time to leave the country that they have been in or when it's time to readjust. Because we cannot lie to you, the world is changing so quickly before our eyes. Alliances matter. Lines are being drawn in the sand. So much is going down. And so in this video, we're going to break down those 4 phases that expats go through based on client data, data from our friends, data from our agencies, and what's actually happening on the ground for digital nomads, retirees, and expats that are in Africa. Also, thank you so much for watching our last video. It is literally getting so many views. Why expats leave South Africa and Tanzania. Hit the like button, share this with 10 to 15 people, and let's get into it.
This is something that you really have to pay attention to, especially if you are traveling, especially if you are like a digital nomad. You have to realize that everywhere is not like America. Everywhere is not like France. Everywhere is not like Europe, right? You know, you have to choose the right African country. This is what we always say. You know, you need that stability. You need a consistent power source, right? You need that consistent electricity. You need that consistent internet, right? So these things is very important. And if you choose the wrong country, as we hear, you know, you will be dealing with things or you will have to adjust. You know, that's something that, you know, recently I was talking to a brother and he's been dealing with the load shedding, right? And of course, he's not going back to America, so he has to deal with it. The thing that brings him peace is the environment, right? The things that brings him peace is the people around him that is sustainable, right? So he can learn certain things. But to certain people, that's going to be like, whoa, like that's a whole different lane. That's a whole different life that you have to adjust to. So these are the things that you really got to pay attention to. So these are our last video. This is why we talked about the countries that we did. I will name them real quick. Kenya, Madagascar in a way, Mauritius, Seychelles, Botswana. These countries, Rwanda, are pretty stable when it comes to the power source. You know, I'm just going to sum it up in that. You have to realize which country that you're going to choose and which country is going to help you, which country's system is up to date too. You know, can you transfer money internationally in a way? Can you use your bank card without being locked? You get what I'm saying? So these things, you know, we talk about in a state of diaspora. So check the link in the description below.
To get the replay.
Yes. And like certain things, people don't think about it until you be in certain situations. And this is why we come on here and give our audience, you know, our subscribers, this information, because this information is very vital to you when you are moving and traveling. Like you do not want to be stuck somewhere without internet, or you know the power goes out, or if something happens. So just for example, just the other night our power was out and we had to call pretty much the electric people, and they said yes, this is the whole region, we're pretty much upgrading. Something happened, but they upgraded it. So the place that we are in, if something bad like that happens, it's for a reason. It's not like it's happening to load shed, to save power in other regions. You receive
a notice in advance.
So it's like,
and they warn you about the region. Absolutely. Because when infrastructure becomes unpredictable, life becomes too daggone expensive. There are places in Africa where you will pay for internet, pay for these infrastructural things, $300, $400, which is more than the rates you paid in America. Now, when it gets that bad, you really have to ask yourself, okay, is this worth the cost of being here? And then number 2, you have policy shifts. Now, expats know when policy starts to just shift. I know Thailand is having some of these issues. There are other countries in Southeast Asia that are pretty consistent, like the Philippines, where they don't change immigration every 5 seconds, okay? So this happens throughout the world, so you have to know which countries to go to. But sudden rule changes, visa uncertainty, oh gosh, tax ambiguity and enforcement inconsistency. Who on earth has time for that? I know I don't have time for that. As a mom of now 6 children, I'm not dealing with that, period. And I know you don't have time for it because you're on this channel, you're tuned in to Journey with us. You want to receive real information that not only comes with that real information, but real solutions, because there's no reason to have problems without giving you a solution.
Yeah, that's good. And I wanted to say this also because things are shifting. Relationships are changing.
Between countries.
Between countries, between nations. This is very important. I like how you said the Philippines.
Yeah.
I love her. But yeah, you got to know the relationships between your passport holder. So for us, like America and the Philippines.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things that you can do in the Philippines without going back to America.
Yeah.
So this is what we talk about behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know certain countries that you can go to without going back to America to handle everything that you need to handle in a timely manner. You know, you don't have to buy a whole plane ticket to fly back to handle what you got to handle and then
to
fly
deal with
back.
the winter storm and the shootings.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But that's a good point. You really got to understand the relationships with your passport holder, and for us, it's America. And most of the people that's watching this, I know you're in America, so or you are an American.
You're an American. Yeah. Now, number 3, and you were kind of talking about this, the social behavior changes. You already kind of got into that topic, because when you have increased tension pressure with World War III, nation against nation, Mali, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Niger saying Americans cannot enter. We talked to a family that we were so close with in Tanzania. They said, you know what? We spent time in Uganda, and the moment the trade wars went off, the folks started treating them different. They were getting bribed on another level. She said, sis, it's nothing like Tanzania was. Tell people never go to Uganda. It is so corrupt, out of this world, but the Ugandans wouldn't know because they're not American. So understand, with a policy change, everything can shift for you, the American, and you think, well, I'm black, I'll just fit in. You speak English with a certain English accent. Even when I am trying to speak French, let me tell you, I would speak it with an accent. Bonjour, I sound American. I don't sound French, as much as I may try. Bonjour.
Can I have a croissant?
We really try. It's a little difficult, okay? But they know you have an accent, as many Swahili words as you know, because we still know Swahili. But we say it with the accent, so they're gonna know, oh, you sound like an American speaking our language. That's fine when you're in a country that's neutral territory, but it's not fine when you're in a country that is corrupt central. Because guess what happens when World War III escalates? The righteous get more righteous, Psalms 18, check your scriptures. But the wicked get more wicked. The twisted get more twisted. And Yah will show himself to judge properly among the nations. Make no mistake, but make sure you are also wise, like Joseph in Egypt, like Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys in the lion's den. Do not put yourself in foolish situations for no reason. The wise consider the cost, they count the cost, and where there is strategy and a multitude of counsel, the people will actually succeed. Now, number 4 is our favorite topic. which you kind of touched on, partially banking, but flights and mobility signals, because we just had another viral video on Journey With Us. If you are not subscribed to Journey With Us, but you're coming to this channel, you should just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. You know, you may have to exert 1 calorie to subscribe, but go ahead and do it, because I can't find any other channels online that are giving you this information simultaneously about geopolitics, scriptures, expat life, and the logistics that's required to sustain yourself, whether you are a retiree, a family, a digital nomad, or a startup in Africa and beyond. Because here's the thing, we're seeing fewer routes that are available. Payment friction is happening. I saw the taxes that they apply to certain African flights. They actually broke it down in Business Insider South Africa, and I was astonished. This is why flights are so expensive in Africa. They apply the extra tax. Y'all know the black tax, especially if you're diaspora, Ethiopian diaspora, Nigerian diaspora, Ghanaian diaspora, Congo diaspora, you know the black tax. And so that tax is applied also when you fly throughout the African continent, if you're not in the right region, okay? And then we have currency controls. We have currencies that are fluctuating. We have currencies that are stable and unstable. And we have impending economic dooms happening on the African continent right now that will affect you if you're in those countries.
And booms. So, Zambia, right? They are heavily with copper. Copper been going up. So their Quatra, I believe I'm saying
Quatra.
Quatra. Let me stop. But yeah, their money just outperformed. They're one of the best performing currency of 2025 because copper and you know the precious metals went up so much.
Wow.
So little things like that, you better start strategizing.
Good.
You got to start strategizing.
Okay.
Where do what African country, depending on the corruption, depending on the system, depending on the infrastructure, you know, has a lot of gold or exports a lot of gold, or you get what I'm saying, silver and stuff like that.
Sure.
Think about that, because in this near future, these are going to be very, very important. And that currency really might boom. So just like I was just talking to a brother in Zambia, and he was saying since copper is doing so well, our U.S. dollar is not as strong. It was, so everything's starting to be more expensive. And I'm like, dang, bro, that
USD
makes sense. Like it's crazy
against
how
copper.
Yeah, against the Zambian Quatra. Yeah.
My.
That's something. That's something to think about.
Yeah, you better do more than think about that. That's serious, y'all. And this is why we tell you, somebody left a comment and they said gold is too high right now. Well, guess what, family? You said that 36 hours ago, but you could have been up in the market. I tell you, I still buy gold to this day because I know that gold will be at 6,000 maybe in the next 6 months, maybe less. I know that if I'm holding for 2 years, it might be at 8,000. How do I know? I know the fundamentals. I can look and see what's happening in the world without thinking America's never going to fail. America's failing right now before your eyes. The economy is crashing. The entire civil unrest. Wake up, Jacob. Can you see what's happening? This is horrible for Americans that are unaware of the cost of being in darkness. The darkness that I'm talking about is not a physical darkness, but it's a cognitive blindness where you are not looking at the market because you think it's too scary to buy gold. It's too scary to hold silver. It's too, I'm depending on outside resources. No, you're depending on wisdom. Count the cost of your decisions today because they will, I guarantee you, impact the decisions and the outcomes that you have for 2027 and beyond.
Yeah, and it's more simple than what people think. Like I'm telling you, we've been through it. And this is why we try to come on here and tell people this is what you need to do. Like I say, we're not financial advisors, this is our personal opinion. This is what we do. But
This is for
more
educational purposes.
This is more simple than what people think. Of course, we get a lot of questions about, oh, how do you buy physical gold? Yes, you can do that. But also you can use your bank card to buy gold. You get what I'm saying? The money that you have in the bank.
You can buy gold
silver,
ETFs.
Yeah. All of it.
Futures.
It's not that hard to do. It's more simple than what you think. And that's where you have to know, like, your decisions has to be simple. It has to. You can't make it too difficult, or you're gonna go crazy in this crazy world. You're gonna be distracted. If it's not simple, more distractions is gonna come. If you got 5-6 options, that's gonna be probably half of them is gonna be a distraction to keep you stagnant.
Right.
So make it simple. That's what I'm saying. Like
Simplicity
is a must. It's a must.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We tell our children already about gold, silver, so that when they turn 18 and 25 and 35, they're in it earlier than us. They can benefit from the things that we are learning a little bit later than I would have loved to know this at 18, but we didn't know. But when you know better, you can do better and show them these ropes, because guess what? Wall Street does not have to be a European man in a suit all day, every day. You should buy gold. You should buy silver. You should buy copper. Why? Because World War III is happening. Okay? These things go hand in hand with each other. How do you know? Well, you look back at history. You read books. You look back at what happened during World War II. Oh, people wanted gold because they could not trust any of the currencies that were available. Post World War II, they were able to strip gold because the world was more peaceful and World War II had ended. That's when American bonds went up. Right now, you have a different cycle. American bonds are being dumped by Denmark in record levels. If you don't watch the market,
and
one of the largest dumps just happened of U.S. government bonds, which made Trump say, okay, let me just, let's chill. I'm not going to use lethal force. I meant we can work out a plan. Why? You have to change position, because if Europe dumps every American bond, Europe is one of the largest holders of American debt. Americans think they're not in debt. America's in super debt. If you dump those government bonds, the US dollar, whoop. Now you say, why do you feel so fine about this? Because we invest a good portion of whatever we make into gold. Period. A good portion. We were holding some AI stocks. We've shaved them off. Why? The market's crashing. Understand and discern the times. You have to do it. It's the only thing that makes sense. It makes so much sense that the Most High would actually create a person that was called Joseph in the Bible. You go to ancient Egypt, that's current Egypt right now, they'll still tell you about Joseph to this day. This is how big of a deal it is, so that peoples and nations would still be able to eat in famine and chaos. It's that big of a deal that the Most High would send those dreams to Pharaoh and have Joseph interpret them. So let's not pretend like it's not a big deal. It's actually a huge deal. So much so that the Most High would send visions on people of all nations and show them what's happening and what's coming.
Yeah, all praises, guys. Look, main point is, like, learn the market, please. Because once you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to be like, man, why haven't I done this sooner? That's what we always say. It's just like, but all praises. Yeah. Most High's timing is always the right time. So, hope you guys enjoyed the information. Make sure you like the video. Leave your comments below. Let us know where you are tuning in from. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And we will talk to you in the next video. Shalom.
Shalom.